In this video, we're going to continue with our face build, and we're going to focus on retopoing using the quad draw tool inside of Maya. So we need to prepare our reference face for the retopo process. That's going to be as easy as just selecting everything and combining it into one mesh. Well, first, let's make sure that if we have anything in sub D mode, that we smooth it out first. We won't be able to smooth it once it becomes a live surface. So make sure you're in one mode for your high poly reference. Cancel that operation. All right. Looks about good. You want to have a good amount of geometry, but not too much to make your program slow down. And yeah. So let's do a mesh combine. All right. Took a little bit. Now would be a good time, since that took so long to combine, I think we need to delete our history. There we go. So we've, it's so weird looking. All right, the last step in the process here is to right click and make this surface live. Now our head is basically a magnet. We can turn off our reference layer, and let's get rid of these extra layers that don't do anything anymore. All right, so let's start with the retopo process. So we're going to click up on the modeling toolkit found in Maya, and we're going to click on Quad Draw. Its default settings should be pretty good. If not, you just want to reset. We also have all of these keyboard and mouse shortcuts if you just click and expand. So if you're not following exactly what I'm doing, and I didn't exactly say how, you have this whole cheat sheet right here. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is draw our face rings around our major landmarks that will need the most consideration for deformation. That's going to be the following things. The nose holes would be a good place. Not really much deformation, but it's a good place to start describing the form of the nose in general. And then the parameter of the lips here. And then around the eyes. And then the bridge of the nose down to the chin. And a brow around the eyes. And then we're going to draw our ring around the neck that'll match our body so we can attach it easy. And then we'll do a mirror line cut down our mesh and draw a ring of faces right down the symmetrical line all the way down to the neck. So we're going to use the quad draw tool found in the modeling toolkit once again, in case you just now seeing this. And here's our quad draw tool right here and all of our mouse shortcuts. All right, so we're going to start out by drawing a ring of faces around our nose hole. So to do this, I like to start by just placing down some potential vertices around the ring of the nose here. And then I'll go in and draw the inside parts of those. So it's like I'm drawing a ring of faces. And then all I have to do is just go in and fill them out. So I'm using the shift and left click button to fill these faces out. And the amount of verts and polys are always subject to change, because when we start connecting things together, things can get kind of weird kind of quick. All right, let's do one around the perimeter of the lips now. So we want to be just around the lips. And since I'm working with bigger shapes, I'm going to kind of start making my forms a little bit bigger. You don't want to start too small. That'd be a quick way to spend a lot of time banging your head against the wall. Alright, I want to just even this out. Shift and left click will relax your geometry for you. But make sure that you don't lose your original shapes. Relax that around. Start big. Alright, the next one we're going to do is going to be around our eyelids. So we'll start somewhat big, but we want to have enough geometry to nicely describe these shapes. Alright, there's my initial ring of vertices. Now let's start drawing their rings around. Just make sure every vert, and you can just hold this down and drag. I hate doing that sometimes though. Let's see. Yeah, I forgot, it didn't even see that one. But you can just click and drag if it's a walk in the park kind of ring. Alright, we'll just define the shape a little bit. You want to spend enough time on this area to really get good deformation. Don't rely too much on the relax tool. You want to tell Maya exactly how you want this face to deform. And that's what we're doing right now. Alright, there's our first little eye ring there. Okay, next we're going to go around the brow all the way around to the cheek. And it will start from these faces right here. So maybe just extrude up the first three. So I'm holding down tab and left clicking, and then I'm left clicking on this vertice right here, and there's an auto weld going on right there. So no big deal. All right. And honestly, we follow the eyes for a little bit around. Just make it a little bit bigger. You can always go back in and add edge loops if you want with this tool by holding down Control and left click. So let's continue to just to focus on our big rings first, and then we can just go in and add edge loops. That way we don't have to draw ring after ring after ring out by hand. That would be a nightmare. So you're seeing that as I extrude, I can also kind of target weld, and then we're going to break off. And we kind of want to go maybe over where our cartilage starts here. So every once in a while, it might be tricky to grab a vert. It's just kind of the idiosyncrasies of the tool. So the trick is to look at the verts, or you can just start over and delete it by holding down Control Shift and left click it. All right. Yeah, some of this topology just gets weird. Ooh, we don't want to do that. Make sure you don't hold down. Where is? It's not liking this little. There we go. Hopefully the whole nose doesn't get that messed up. All right. So that's kind of somewhat how the nose begins. And then what we're going to do next is right above the nose here, we're going to bring this down. And now we're going to draw. I'm going to insert an edge loop right there. I don't want to, I'm more or less, that's probably going to connect. But I'm going to trace around my nostril here. And we're going to go all the way around the mouth. See how aggressive I got with these shapes? Nice and thick. And this is going to continue all the way down into the chin area. In fact, I'm just going to take these big shapes. Maybe we'll put another edge loop right there. And if you noticed, this ring went ahead and automatically created our laugh line. You know how our cheeks deform right around here? So that's the beauty of this ring that we're doing. Cool. It's going to be fun completing and connecting all this stuff up together eventually. All right. Looks a little weird right now, but rest assured we're doing exactly what we need to do. For this one, I think I'm going to bring up my doll and turn on wireframe on shaded. And let's just try to match this up. I think what I might do is delete some of the neck that I already made. So to get out of this mode of what we're doing, just press the Q button and click outside, then click this magnifying glass right here. That'll turn off live mode. There we go. And as you can see, we now have this whole new piece of geometry that we can use. But I think the easiest way to kind of maybe connect this together, I want to delete some of these faces. Yeah, and I'm going to be able to more easily see the edge loops that I need to make when I'm retopoing. All right, so I'm going to click on my head again, right click and hold, make live. Then I'm going to select my piece of geometry I just created and go back into quad draw mode. And I'll bring it up like it's the piece I was just working on. And from here, I'm just going to do a vert. This might be a generally poly heavy model, but it's going to look good. All right, next we just draw their the rest of the verts that we can make into quads. I don't know why I do it this way. Some people just like to start out with a single square, then extrude. But you tell me. Oh, just don't like that tool. I like to click, 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 click. I don't like to click and drag. All right. So we got a perfect amount of verts for the neck made because we used our base mesh as a guide. All right. Next, we're going to just extrude up the back of the neck. Keep it real big in general. And just connect it to that front eye mask. And then we'll just come all the way down to the neck. And there we go. Now we basically just need to maybe outline the ear and we're good to go. So let's finish that up. And I'm just going to outline the ear. It's kind of a pain to do the ear since it's in such a weird angle. And I'm going to go ahead and hide my doll mesh. Let's get in the way. And I'm not going to try to get right in that crack because I have a feeling That would mess with some of our geometry, or it might make it hard to grab those verts. Tucked away back here. All right. Hopefully this won't be too wonky. Oh, that's not how we do it. And this is real general right now. Did I mean to do this? See how it's having a tough time figuring out where you want to bridge things? All right, now that I got the ring made, I'm going to go in and refine a little bit more. Control and left click will insert edge loops, remember? It's the easiest way to get in there and start building out some of that geometry. We want to kind of take care of this ear early because it'll be a lot easier to work with the ear if we kind of already account for its hole, and then we have this nice ring of vertices and faces around it to connect to. All right. So let's press Q and get out of that and unmagnetize. And I'm going to go ahead and maybe put this head on its own little layer for right now. And I'm going to look at what we got here, and I want to mirror duplicate it and make sure we're right down the center axis here. So I'm just going to double click around the edge and then deselect any edges that aren't part of this center profile here. I think that's it. All right. We'll scale them flat and then snap to that grid. All right, cool. Something might happen weird with the nose here, but there we go. And next we're going to maybe, let's do a freeze and reset. And let's mirror geometry it across. Wait, did it already duplicate? Yep. Always double check. All right, let's combine them together now. Mesh, combine, vertice, low merge tolerance. And this will kind of just make smoothing things out in the future a lot easier. It also gives us a better idea of what's going on. Oh, it looks like our mouth kind of got off a little bit. So we can just do some of our own merges. Press G there to repeat the last action, which was merge. It looks like our verts are weird down here. Didn't quite get it at the bottom. You know how I knew that? Look at how these verts aren't just following the nice progression. It's because they're getting pulled there. And as soon as I do that, they snap back into what you would expect it to topologically look like. So now we have the weirdest looking mask you've ever seen. And I think that's a good place to stop this one.